Hello. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon, this morning, whatever time zone it is where you are. We are grateful that you are here. Thanks for being a part of the Engaging New Communities live gathering as we look to see how Plant with Purpose is poised to expand and engage new communities across our work in Africa. Let's jump right in. I'm not the expert, but I have brought with me an expert, and I'm going to introduce you to Jared White, who is our Regional Partnerships Manager, oversees our programs in Africa. And he has lived and worked in East Africa for the last 15 years. He's based in San Diego now and brings incredible talent to our team as he has helped us guide and facilitate incredible growth over the last several years of our work across Africa. He was an instrumental part of helping us to launch our work in the DRC, and we're really grateful to have him with us here today. A couple of notes. Unfortunately, we're not able to bring some of our local directors from our country programs in today. Bandwidth is incredibly difficult in the places that we work, and the reliability of that is a huge challenge. Additionally, time zones, it's 1, 2, 3 a.m. In some of the places that we're working in Africa. And so just a few challenges there, but we did get some videos from some of our directors to bring them into this conversation today, and we're going to get to share that with you. Another note, within the Excel events format, you'll be able to see a way that you can chat with other participants. You can pose questions, and please do ask questions, and we'll have the ability to respond to your questions over that chat. And thank you. Thank you so much for being here. We're so grateful for our partners, whether you've been a partner for 36 years with Plant with Purpose, or you are joining in for the first time and just wanting to learn and connect deeper to the work and ministry that Plant with Purpose is doing. With that, allow me to introduce Jared White.
So great to be here. Really thankful for the opportunity to get to share about the amazing work that God is doing through Plant with Purpose in a few countries in Africa. The 4 countries we currently work in, with hopes and dreams of expanding into other countries. We first started in Tanzania all the way back in 2004. And then a few years later, started our work in Burundi, and an exciting program that we'll get to share a little bit more about later in the DR Congo about 5 years ago. And then most recently started a pilot project in Ethiopia. And I kind of just want to set the stage for the fact that, when we think of Africa, when we think of the people and the communities that Plant with Purpose partners with and works with, we're really talking about the rural subsistence smallholder farmers. And when I first started working at Plant with Purpose, the first image I had of that was of farmers in flatlands, very fertile soil. The difficulties were not extreme. The farmers the majority of the farmers that Plant with Purpose works with, that we work with, are actually living in extreme conditions. Their land is most often, if not always, slope, like a 45-degree angle, as you can see in this photo, which doesn't do the best job. But it kind of shows you that the land is very steep. And one of the biggest reasons why we put so much emphasis on protecting people's land from soil erosion, from hard rainfall when it does rain, so that their crops don't wash away. And in fact, this photo was taken by me about 5 years ago. And I slipped and fell. That's how steep the land was where I took this photo. I slipped and fell right after I took this picture. So these are the families, these are the individuals, these are the communities where we're working. it's just extreme conditions. So just to keep that in mind as we're talking about each of the countries where we work and the farmers in particular.
Yeah, and I think about as you're describing and kind of setting the scene for the families that we're working with, just to point out that of the world's population, 70 to 85% of the world's poorest, those who are multidimensionally poor, not just looking at income, but looking at so many other factors of what their floors are made out of. Are their children attending school? And how many meals a day are they eating? 70 to 85% of the world's poorest live in rural areas. They look like places like this, and they get the worst pieces of land. And so I'm excited, Jared, to talk more with you about the what of how Plant with Purpose is doing work in these places. But let's go ahead and turn to introduce our guests to Noah and Flora. Noah is the director of our program in Burundi, and I'll let him speak for himself.
Hi, dear partners in the ministry. I'm Noah Nizigama, Floresta Burundi Country Director since 2014. I'm also pleased to introduce you my dear wife, Flora, who can greet you too.
Hello, dear beloved servant of God. May God bless you.
We enjoy our home garden near our fruitful avocado tree, as you can see some fruits here. I'm pleased to share a short story of why I feel always motivated to remain serving my needy communities in all times, whether it is windy or snowy. I'm very passionate to know that I'm helping to build a solid foundation for a better future for generations to come after me. I care about leaving a legacy of dignity to my people one day. Indeed, since 1993, after the assassination of the first democratically elected president, Burundi has fallen into a series of catacombs of the dead and exiles for a long, long time, with the consequences of nameless poverty and without resilience, despair and laziness making the situation worse. And since Floresta Burundi works in some 4 sub-watersheds, we testify that we are tangibly building a new mindset, a new hope, and the lives are being transformed. No later than early this last month of September, during our very last impact evaluation 2020, we were surprised not only by our participants' analysis of Floresta Burundi's work, but also and above all, by the analysis of the non-participants. Indeed, during the focus group discussion, the groups of non-participants of Nyakazu sub-watershed declared that the trainings provided by Floresta Burundi awakened the populations at work. They noted that the communities who followed the trainings like to work hard, and as a result, they are developing in all respects. This is a tremendous motivation for me, as the trained participants become now the key development actors within their community and even directly impacting the neighboring non-participants. That is a community transformation. May God richly bless you for your very generous heart to restore hope to communities in need, but who are now building for themselves a future of sustainable development and that of their offspring. May God bless you.
So one thing in particular that I love about, hearing and seeing Noah and his wife Flora is not only his passion for the work that he gets to lead and be a part of in Burundi, but he emphasized something that has really been revolutionary for Plant with Purpose and how we program and how we work in communities. 6 or 7 years ago, we knew we had the data telling us that the work we were doing was changing the lives of the individuals, the farmers, and their families. And what we've realized over the last 6 years as we transitioned to this watershed approach is that not only are we impacting the lives of the individual farmers and families we work with, but we're actually impacting the lives of the entire population of the watershed itself. This is something that we will talk a little bit more about later when we get to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. But I want to highlight a couple more things. Our work in Burundi has been going on, since 2008. We've grown immensely over that period of time, and most recently have entered into a very exciting partnership with our peers organization, Hope International. It is actually currently in the process of being implemented. And I just want to say thank you to Noah and his wife for the video, and really glad that they could join us in that way. Corbin, back to you.
Yeah, no, thank you, Jared. I appreciate your reflections, and you obviously get to have a much closer relationship and with Noah, and so I appreciate your thoughts. And just to everybody that's joining us, if you want to learn more about watersheds, we have a full session that you can join in on to learn and do a deep dive on why watersheds, with a really incredible endorsement that it is kicked off by from Paul Penley, who is an excellent individual who focuses all of his effort in evaluating the effectiveness and impact of nonprofit organizations. And we definitely invite you to join that video called Why Watersheds. So Jared, let's go from Burundi over to Tanzania. This is a place that holds a special place in my heart. I've had a chance to visit a few times to be with Richard Mahina, our director there. Really is a pioneering program for us as our first Plant with Purpose program in Africa. Became a flagship of sorts where we learned so many things over the years, listening to the local staff and what they were experiencing in local communities. And gosh, yeah, now today we're working with over 10,000 families around Tanzania. And so you have spent a lot more time there than I have. So I will rely on you as the expert to just fill us in a little bit more on how things are going in Tanzania and what you're excited about.
Yeah, thanks, Corbin. I believe and have seen the importance of the work going on in Tanzania, not just for the sake of Tanzania and the work there itself, but the immense benefit the first program in Africa has helped all of our other programs in Burundi, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and also in Ethiopia. Kind of all the things that they've learned over the years and have experimented with and have tested have all been of great benefit to the other programs. The exciting thing about Tanzania is, most people know that of Mount Kilimanjaro. And really that's where all of our work in Tanzania is focused, is in the Kilimanjaro region. And the majority of the participants in the program are all living at the base of the mountain. And so you can imagine how important the environment is to the individual's farms. So for a long time, deforestation has been a huge issue in that region. And that has actually kind of shifted, and reforestation efforts have made a huge difference. Something that has benefited not only the entire region, but also every farmer's individual farm has benefited from all of those efforts. I think one person in particular kind of stands out to me, and as we're talking about Tanzania, she's the one in the picture that you can see there. Her name is Evelyn, and we have a quote from Evelyn that just speaks for itself. She says, our group that participates in the program normally prays before doing anything. We also help our fellow villagers who are in need, specifically sick people and the elderly. Various topics about God's creation and the story of redemption are shared with our group. Through all of these trainings, my faith in God has been strengthened. I mean, it just speaks for itself, just knowing the work that's taking place in Tanzania, and for someone who's participated in the program like Evelyn saying what she's said. I really don't have much more to say about Tanzania.
Yeah, it's awesome to get to have the individual stories when we talk about 10,000 families. Sometimes that can be a hard number to capture, but to bring it back to the individuals is really, really important. You know, to shift right back and think about a number that just blows my mind though about Tanzania is there's those 10,000 families that we work with, they're a part of 400 savings groups. And as most folks know who are watching this today, savings groups are a key part of Plant with Purpose's work as we work in environmental restoration, economic development, and spiritual renewal. These savings groups provide an incredible platform for families to begin to build a safety net. But those 409 savings groups, you wouldn't believe it, but they have over $2.4 million US saved. Just dollars at a time, tiny, tiny amounts. And this shows just the power of saving regularly and then combining that with trainings that help families to increase their income through diversification of their crops, through improving their soil qualities. It's a real testament, and again, points back to the flagship nature of just the progress that's been made in Tanzania, and knowing that this year we're launching an entire new watershed because we're meeting the goals that we've met in previous watersheds. Things are going so well. It's time to grow. It's incredibly exciting. So yeah, thank you, Jared, for sharing. Let's shift and chat a little bit more about another place that Plant with Purpose is working. And it is in fact the newest place that Plant with Purpose is working in Ethiopia. In northern Ethiopia, in Gondar, we are working with over 800 families currently. Our target over a 3-year pilot program is to reach over 1,000 families. So we are on track. We're 2 years into the pilot. Things are going really well. Just to set the landscape of Ethiopia a little bit, for the folks that are joining us today, Gondar and northern Ethiopia, 98% of its forests have been lost. It used to be covered in incredible Afro-montane forests that, due to growing populations, shifting land use for agriculture and livestock, those forests have largely been 98% of them are gone. And our work really works at this intersection of environmental degradation and poverty. And the families that are living in and amongst this land have experienced the worst of environmental degradation, with the loss of those trees, increased soil erosion, decreased soil quality, and some of the only remaining forests in the area uniquely are surrounding the Orthodox Church in that area. And so it came up for Plant with Purpose as a place where we're really uniquely suited to partner with subsistence level farmers to work to restore their land and restore soils, and work in partnership with those churches to begin to expand the footprint of those forests, and work in a way that families have an opportunity to succeed and thrive in combination with their environment. And so we're in a 3-year pilot project, and it's going really well. Getnat is the program director, coordinator for us in Ethiopia. I had a chance to spend time with him just a year and a half ago, and they were just launching, and he is an incredible leader. I'm really grateful for him on our team, and for the men and women that he's guiding to work day in and day out in these rural communities. So things are going well. You see in this picture here, they're actually doing it's a training that's helping families to learn how to effectively conserve and restore their land to prevent soil erosion so they can maximize their crop yields and protect their land. What's cool there is you actually can notice there's a little green box there on the bottom right. So this is a savings group, which is getting to participate in the environmental curriculum that Plant with Purpose is teaching. So just to see all of these things work together, and it's a really beautiful thing. Now, I want to shift us to talking about our work in the DR Congo. And Jared, you and I have had a chance to spend a lot of time this last year working together on opportunities in the DR Congo. And I also had a chance in the last year to spend time with our director, Burori, there. And I was just reflecting before our call. He was in our home staying and talking with my wife and I in our living room. And I asked him, he's been with Plant with Purpose now for 5 years. He was instrumental in launching our work in the DRC. But I asked him, how did we choose to work in Kakumba, the watershed where Plant with Purpose is working today? And Burori is from Uvira, which is in Eastern Congo. And he shared with me, knowing deeply the context of the region, he just shared, I knew that if we could succeed in Kakumba, if we could succeed amongst the conflict, the challenges of economic poverty, of limited access, if we could succeed in this place, we can take Plant with Purpose's work anywhere. And what's exciting is we're going to share more about how that's really coming to fruition now. But one more point before we bring Burori in for a video is it's personal to him. He was born in Uvira, and the conflict, warring ethnic tribes taking place in Eastern Congo forced his family to flee. And Burori received much of his education in Kigali, and to hear him in my living room sharing about his passion for the DRC, for his community, to go and take this ministry into the place where he can serve his brothers and sisters, his neighbors, just is incredibly powerful to me, and has me incredibly excited for where we're planning to go over these next 5 years in the DRC. So let's go ahead and bring Burori and Beatrice, his wife, on to introduce them. And then Jared, I'd love to hear some more about your thoughts from our work in the DRC.
My name is Burori Diedone from Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm the program manager of Plant with Purpose DRC. I'm with my family, which I love very much. My wife Beatrice, my boy Daniel, my daughter Lisa, and I have the youngest one, Loriana. She's not with us at this time. I'm glad to be with them in this video. I was dreaming to transform the lives of communities who were suffering in different areas in my country since my young age. In 2015, I got the opportunity of launching Plant with the Purpose program, and I was able to see change in those communities. In 2015, we have launched the program in Kakumba and Kambekulu, and then we were able to transform the life of those communities which we have been working with them. I have seen environment being restored. I have seen people saving their money, people who were not able just to save and join VSLA groups. I have also been able to build peace among tribes and communities. You know, DRC is amongst the countries in Africa which have been affected with some conflicts, ethnic conflicts, but we are glad we have built peace in our communities, and we were able to see people coming together, sharing together. But the best thing is that they were able to share God's love in their communities, helping each other. Thank you very much. Thank you for everyone who will be watching this message.
Great to hear from Birori, and you know, I've had the pleasure of spending significant time in Uvira in South Kivu with him and his family. Yeah, he's led our program there since the beginning, and you know, early on we just didn't know if the program was gonna achieve what we expected or not. And really, when I say our program, I just, you know, for anyone joining us, the Plant with Purpose program model is it's a single program with three equally important parts. First and foremost, spiritual renewal, and then economic empowerment and environmental restoration. And the significant part of the environmental restoration is that it's not just tree planting. We're talking about sustainable farming techniques. We're talking about tree planting, but we're not just talking about, you know, big tree plantations. We're talking about agroforestry. We're talking about, you know, the forest reserves. And in Congo, there's, you know, the significance of the upper parts of the watershed where there's a large forest, and the efforts for the community in terms of community forest management. So when we started there and the program was implemented, we didn't have, you know, we had expectations of how is the program going to go? You know, is it going to achieve the things that we hope that it will? And after 2 years, our expectations were fully exceeded. And I just want to share a few of the results with all of you. So just in 2 years, we, the communities that we work with, and even the population we don't work with within the watershed, nearly doubled their crop diversity. 65% of the families that we worked with invested in new businesses. So borrowing money from their savings group and investing it in a small business. And then something that is, you know, integral in the program design and the methodology is the faith and belief of the participants, and believing that loving their neighbor is very important. And that's how, in many cases, we achieve the impact of the entire population. Is the people who participate in the program share it with their neighbors, or their neighbor sees the benefits their neighbor is experiencing, and they go to them and say, I want to learn from you. How is this possible? And then a really significant result is the number of girls in particular are 2.5 to almost 3 times more likely now to attend school than they were before their parents started participating in the program. And that, to me, as someone who's been working in this type of work for the last 15 years, that to me is such a significant thing, because it shows that we're empowering the parents, we're empowering the family to have the opportunities to invest in their priorities. And you can tell based on these results that they prioritize their girls. They want them to go to school. And so now they have the resources to be able to pay for them to go to school, where a few years ago, their kids were being sent home from school because they couldn't pay the school fees. And now that is less likely to happen because of that. one, all of these stats and everything are always great. We make a lot of decisions based on these results that our program has. And, it all kind of comes back to the lives impacted. And one life in particular has stood out in the last year. And she shared a quote with us. This is Veronica from the DR Congo. And she said, before joining the program and before joining my group, I was seen in the society as a cursed person and also without hope for life. I have thought many times of killing myself, but I did not succeed because I remembered and I was reminded of the word of God written in Psalms 9:18, which says that the poor will not be forgotten forever. The hope of the afflicted will not perish for life. It's stories like those that motivate us, that makes the work that we do so fulfilling and so important. This wouldn't be possible without the generosity of all of those individuals and families and foundations and everyone that has contributed to the work that Plant with Purpose is doing around the world.
Yeah, gosh, thank you, Jared, for sharing that. Thanks for sharing Veronica's story. It is so important, and she is the reason why I support Plant with Purpose. She is the reason why I invite others to support Plant with Purpose. She is our sister, and investing in her is just incredibly important. So Plant with Purpose finds ourselves at this place 36 years after we were founded by a vision that is held true, working upstream, literally and figuratively, to address the root causes of poverty. Now working across 8 countries. This July, we launched Thrive 25, which is our strategic plan that's going to take Plant with Purpose to the next level. And its vision is that, inspired by the impact of our work and service to rural communities around the world, we feel compelled to grow our programs to help address this rising need. And by 2025, we plan to work in 10 countries and 60 sub-watersheds with over 100,000 families. We seek to become the premier organization operating at the nexus of environmental restoration and poverty alleviation. And we've never been better positioned to do so. We work with 40,000 families. We're going to more than double the number of families that Plant with Purpose is able to reach and serve. And I want to give you a really tangible example about what this kind of incredible growth looks like. Just a little over a month ago, I've referenced how Jared and I have been working together a lot in the DRC. We spend a lot of time getting to work with an organization called the Kingdom Giving Fund. And the Kingdom Giving Fund has invested heavily in Plant with Purpose's model in the DRC so that we can take it to scale. Right now, we're in the process of launching 5 new watersheds. We work in 2 right now. We're launching 5 more watersheds right now to bring Plant with Purpose's work to 150,000 more people in the next 5 years. That gift from the Kingdom Giving Fund is gonna support 40% of our budget for the next 5 years. There is so much opportunity for people to participate in this work. Let me show you right here. These are the 2 watersheds that we work in as of July. Here's in 2021. Like starting now, this is our fiscal year 2021, 5 new watersheds. And then you're gonna see little blue dots, and each of those represents Village Savings and Loan Association groups, which is the building block for Plant with Purpose's programs. And you're gonna see those expand as we move through 2021 to 2025. 2022, we're saturating in each of these watersheds. We're teaching more savings groups. We're teaching the curriculums that help families to increase their crop yields, provide more for their families. We're partnering with local churches. 2024, we add more watersheds. 2025, we're moving towards saturation. 150,000 more people that we're going to be able to impact in the next 5 years because of the faithful partnerships of supporters like you who helped us to get to this point and then have encouraged us to take this to the next level. So it comes back to Veronica. We're so thankful for her. We're so thankful for you. Now is the time. Families are waiting. Our staff are experienced. They're equipped. The earth cries out for restoration, and families want to live with dignity as they provide for their children. We've never been better positioned to serve more families with Plant with Purpose's transformational ministry. So thank you again for being a part of bringing us to this point. Now let's kick off this 5-year strategic plan that has us dreaming beyond our own human imaginations and limitations, with God leading our path. Please join us in bringing this transformation to hundreds and thousands of mothers, fathers, and children in the DRC, in Ethiopia, in Tanzania, and Burundi, and more countries that we want to expand into in the next 5 years. We're now going to transition into a closing. Jared, thank you so much for your contributions here. We invite questions to come. But as I close, I just want to repeat a blessing from our dear partner, Noah, in Burundi. And he shared, may God richly bless you for your generous heart to restore communities in need, who are now building for themselves a future of sustainable development. Thank you, everybody, so much for being with us. We look forward to answering your questions.